So we have our bill template. You can type on it now because you made a copy. Here's what we know. We know principal sponsor is you. I'm going to write this as if I were a state representative, but you are Senator Walton or Senator Toman. That's principal sponsor. You also know the name of your party. Please put that next to party. Like Napoleon or UJC. You do not know the committee nor the bill number. Those will be assigned by the President Pro Temp. So moving on, we're going to write one on the state level. This is just practice. Highlight state in yellow, please.
Oh my God, you haven't got everything done.
Now, I'm going to make a bill about enslaving children. You can't, but I really find the punishment to be way short of what it should be. So,
we know what you're doing, right?
Uh-huh.
Like exact.
Now, yep. I like the catchy acronym approach to a bill title. You could just call this the Punishing Human Traffickers Act. But, yeah, you can pick a different one. Here's seriously what I did during my lunch break. I wrote out all the words about punishing human traffickers, sexual slavery, increasing, substantiating, whatever. And then I wrote out acronyms that I tried to make into a catchy acronym. So I'm going to call this the IPEM Act. That's an acronym, Increasing the Punishment for Enslaving Minors Act. Because all awesome legislation, I think, has a cool nickname, like Obamacare, or the Patriot Act, or the FRAC Act. So, I picked that. You can leave it something about human trafficking. But when you make your own bill, when I'm done showing you mine, you can make your own bill. You can make it into a cool, catchy acronym like I did, or just give it a plain Jane name. It's up to you. I'm going with the cool acronym. I put behind the name, Increasing the Punishment for Enslaving Minors, so you know what that acronym stands for. Okay? Now, we should know the purpose of a preamble. Some of you didn't do this right, but it's your first time, so I didn't crucify anyone over it. The preamble tells us the why. It doesn't do anything. It justifies the need for your bill. Here's mine. Whereas human trafficking is an anathema upon mankind. It's like a plague. I'm embarrassed to be human when I read about this. Now, I end with, semicolon, return, new line. Whereas human trafficking crimes, and I knew you wouldn't believe me, so I have a link, you can click it, have been perpetrated in the great state of Wyoming as recently as last year. Because giving specific evidence, it actually happens in Casper. A guy did this to a 14-year-old girl. Uh-huh. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
What? I can't understand that those words.
Control-Shift-Y a word you don't know and it'll tell you.
No. Okay, can't be done.
Whoa.
Get closer.
Oh.
I'll read it out loud and you can watch this on YouTube when I'm done.
Oh.
Whereas human trafficking is a monstrous and devastating crime that steals lives and degrades our nation, according to U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch. That's what she said. So I'm showing you a quote from the highest lawyer in America about human trafficking. She had pretty strong words for it. That's my last clause of my preamble. So I go period return. Now it says be it enacted. That part's already there. There is already a statute on the books in Wyoming to make human trafficking a crime. I will have you know, the last state out of all 50 states to make slavery a crime, us. But at least it's a crime now. I think that one specific part of that law is not severe enough in terms of punishment. So here's the objective of my bill. I want to beef up the punishment for enslaving a minor, like making a kid a sex slave, is basically what this crime is. So you have to know where the heck is that. Because some of you who change like the drinking age or something that's already a law, the wage for waitresses, that's already in the statutes. There are a couple ways to find that. Okay, here's the first one. If you're just in the government class in Canvas, the very first module you should always see for the whole duration of the year has links to all of the constitutions and statutes that you'll need this class. So one way to go there is just go to Wyoming statutes in Canvas in this first folder. Or you could just Google Wyoming statutes.
God bless you, Adam.
Thanks for sharing.
Usually you say thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you Google Wyoming statutes or go through Canvas, you'll get to this page. Please go to that in Canvas or Google Wyoming statutes.
Don't look.
The URL should say legisweb.state.wy.us. Okay? Now, some people are confused, like, where are the laws? Some of you looked at this page for like 5 minutes. I'm confused. We want Wyoming statutes. The first link. And there are a couple ways to use this. One cool thing is it does remember where you were.
Oh, man.
You can search for a term like alcohol, tobacco, prostitution, teacher tenure, speed limits, whatever. Or you can go and navigate all these folders within folders, which is kind of a pain. Here's how we categorize these statutes. They're just state laws. We have titles, then we have chapters, then we have sections. Does it kind of sound like a constitution? Article, section, clause, or a Bible? Book, chapter, verse? See what we did there? Yeah, it makes it easy to organize. So when you see a number that has the three different 6-2-701, that's Title 6, which is crimes against the person. That's like murder, assault, rape, whatever. Chapter 2, Article 701. So this is about human trafficking. The one that I care about is sexual servitude of a minor. So remember how we said, like, in history class, ISIS uses girls as sex slaves? Hopefully you know that if you read the news. That's also a crime in the United States and in Wyoming. But according to this, someone who intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly offers, obtains, procures, or provides an individual less than 18 to engage in commercial sexual services. In other words, you enslave a minor to be your prostitute. Here's the punishment. Here's the punishment. This happened in Casper last year. The punishment is not more than 5 years and a fine of not more than $5,000 or both. So conceivably, a judge could say, after your conviction for this crime, I sentence you to a year in jail or 3 months, because that's less than 5 years. So let's say I look at this and go, I want to change that and like triple the prison sentence and have a mandatory minimum of like 10 years. Because you enslaved a kid to be like a prostitute. That's a pretty heinous crime. And it happened in Casper, so clearly this is an issue. I put a link to that, yes. So, all I want to do is take this statute. And in my bill, I'm going to say, that statute shall now read. And I'm going to paste the real text in there. And I'm just going to change the parts that I think should change and put them in red. So when someone looks at this, they go, that's the real statute, word for word from the books. But Mr. McKelkey's version that he changed or tweaked is now in red. So what should we make the jail sentence?
Life sentence.
Okay, give me minimum first.
20 years.
How about 5 minimum? Can we do that?
Can we meet at 7? Negotiate at 7.
I'm busy at 7.
There we go. Ow!
Not less than 7 years.
Don't have to make it red.
I'm going to once I'm all done typing. Now, what should be the maximum a judge can sentence you to for enslaving a...
Life.
5 years. What it says.
I know, I'm beefing it up, son. I made the minimum 7.
7. Life.
25. Let's
Is that
compromise.
the maximum?
Yeah.
27.
Well, the maximum is the death sentence that we could conceivably put in here.
Can we make a
Yes.
new death sentence?
I thought you put it in there.
I'm going to when I'm done typing it.
Why don't you just
Good point.
Because then I can do it in one fell swoop.
Oh my god.
Is that going
So all I did is find the statute that already makes this a crime, and I edited it, basically.
And we're gonna change the price to the fine.
The price.
Should we?
Yes. The price. That's the fine.
Let's say not less than $5,000. And not more than $25,000.
Why don't we change the minimum of 7,000?
Sure. I'm going to make that red because I changed it from what it originally said.
Why does yours look so much bigger?
So, what that means is if someone is convicted of that crime or pleads guilty, you're the judge now. You sit back and go, okay, this statute, which you've just been convicted under, here's my leeway for a punishment. I can do anything down to 7 years, up to 25. So you get a range to pick from. Plus the fine, I can go anywhere from a minimum of $7,000 to a maximum of $25,000. So a judge could say 10 years in Rollins and $10,000 fine. Because it fits that range, minimum to maximum, for the prison sentence and for the fine. Question?
Is this a felony?
Yes, it is a felony.
Then 27 or Alcatraz or something?
Alcatraz is closed. Our state only has the penitentiary in Rollins.
Can we send them like a big old one? You know, like a big...
Abu Ghraib.
Abu Ghraib is closed.
What about the one in California that they send all the cop murderers to? Yeah.
If you're convicted under state law, you go to the state penitentiary in Rollins.
So there's not a big prison anymore like Alcatraz?
Well, there are lots of private prisons that California can't afford to house their own prisoners, so some company takes them for like $150 a day.
Sick.
Why Alcatraz?
Yeah, send them to Pocatello.
No, to Green River.
Women can commit this crime.
That's what I'm saying.
Why is Alcatraz closed?
Can we keep it on topic while I'm screencasting? So, you see, here's the hardest part about this. I just had to go find the actual law and say, now what do I want to change? So could you conceivably do the same exact thing with the school handbook to change the late work policy? Copy and paste the current policy like you did with dress code and tweak some things. So if you want to see, I wrote one earlier for the other class, changing that. But now all I have to do is put this in the hopper, turn it into Canvas, and I'm done. If you do a state law, my suggestion is don't put years on your enactment clause. Put a day and a month after passage. Here's what Wyoming always does. The next July 1st is when new laws go into effect. Because if you put second semester 2016, I know, say if you did for your dress code bill, and it doesn't pass or get signed by the principal until February, now it never goes into effect. So don't put years on your enactment clause. You could put the next full school year after passage, the next fiscal year. That's why we do July 1st is when like your tax year starts over. So I just put the next July 1st after passage. I'm going to put that in the hopper, turn it into Canvas, my second bill is done. Now, you don't have to do this topic, but you see how to do a state bill. If you want to see a school one, on the Canvas assignment, I screencasted the class